Welcome back! Today we're doing the MVP nominees.
Yes, we are!
I wore the same outfit yesterday and I'm back again.
Because we totally didn't record this all in a bunch. Why would we do that? Like, why would all the Wildcats go up in one
bunch.
go?
What am I, a bundle of sticks?
Guys, we're talking about the MVP list, the most valuable player. Gio, tell us what makes a most valuable player. Performer. Guys, I'm tired.
Okay.
Go ahead. What makes a most valuable
I think this is an award that it almost feels like there's so many different categories for how you can rate this, right? I think I've seen people who think the most valuable performer is just the far and away best performer in the league, right? Like, you're like, this person's the funniest person, they make me haha the most, they must be MVP. There's other people where they look at it as almost a reflection of a team award, right? Where you can look at it and you go, the MVP of like this league is how much this person does for their team, right? Their team means this because of what they're able to bring, right? So I think a big showcase of that is, like, if we look into last season with Kazu. Kazu is such a big replication of just the amount of love and energy that Clark had brought. Clark quite literally was a team that like was built by Kazu and was taught by Kazu last year. So it was just so showcased, and it was awesome to see all the coaches mutually be like, yeah, because Clark without Kazu like maybe doesn't even exist as a team. So a lot of different things like that. So it's really impressive to watch an award like that. And then other years, you can see a performer like who it's like, this person's the heart and soul of the league, right? So years ago, Isaac was a performer who quite literally it felt like if mutually everyone can look and be like, this person is the heart and soul of this league. Like, how would we possibly ever get rid of this person and say it's not them? So it's kind of fun seeing how the different mindsets come for this award. Do you have anything specific that you might see as a take on what defines the MVP of the league?
I think one of the other things that defines like the MVP, it's also the player that, or the performer that elevates everyone else they're on stage with, right? Because even going back to Kazu was like, yes, they were super good on their own, but every scene Kazu was in, they always had an ability to highlight everyone they shared that stage with. And I think that is a very key thing that an MVP has.
Yep.
So, should we begin?
We shall.
With the reveal?
We're going to start off with a performer who I hope knows they deserve to be on this list. And I feel like, I don't know if this is going to blindside them. I don't know if they're prepping to hear it. I don't get to talk to this performer much. I've had maybe 3 conversations with the performer, and I probably can't tell you what any of the topics were about. But every single time I do talk to this performer, though, or I see them perform, it reminds me more and more, this is someone who 1000% belongs to be here. And we're gonna give that shout out immediately for MVP over to Alejandro at ECTA. Such a deserving performer to be on this list. Mia, would you like to go on a little?
Sure.
Yeah.
I think Alejandro as a performer, we have seen over like the last couple of years, like started out really, really quiet, but has just really like came into his own, right? Especially this year, I think there are so many highlights that we can pull from, like the pillar scene that he had with Kayla, where he was pregnant. Such a good scene. There is
his
also
character choices of choosing to be the role that he clearly doesn't embody is
so good.
Amazing. Yeah.
Same with that. Same with the sanitation engineer. There's just like so many like iconic Alejandro characters that happened this year, and all of them so wildly different from the other.
Mm-hmm.
He is one of those performers where I never know what's going to happen next with him, and I think that's what makes him such an interesting person to watch. Alejandro didn't get to perform a lot with his team this year, so Alejandro was very much playing like Kayla with like everyone from the league, and he was always able to hold his own and be highlighting everyone around him while also just doing like some of the funniest choices we've seen all year. I think
one of my favorite things that I noticed with Alejandro is Alejandro has this innate ability to so one of the biggest things we talk about in improv is like, we make the rules for the world, right? Mm-hmm. You establish what the world considers normal.
Yes.
And Alejandro is so good at jokes like that, where it's obviously absurd in actual life, but he says it so bluntly, so normally, that it now establishes this is canon in his universe. So for instance, today was a workshop, and I think this is a good example of just the type of joke Alejandro makes that makes everyone laugh. It was like a rock factory was the joke. And they were like, oh my gosh, where did you get these rocks? And he goes, California. And then he just continues. And you're just like, this is canon now. Rocks are sourced from California. And it's just so expertly set up with the way that Alejandro does it, where he can just make it so normal, or like even something that sounds normal, right? Sanitation engineer, but it sounds so funny just pointing out that that's what your career is. You know, wasn't he a 500-year-old
sanitation engineer?
Which is insane.
It was so good.
Imagine being 500 years old and that's what you've made it towards, sanitation engineer.
I need to make a quick addendum really fast. I said in the Wildcast episode that was a sanitation engineer does not exist. It does exist. I'm just dumb. That's not.
You said that?
I did. I was watching it last night, and I was like, that doesn't exist. And you agreed. You agreed that it doesn't exist. It does exist. Alejandro, you have done such incredible work this school year. You have just been improving, and highlighting, and just doing all the things we like to see. It's awesome. Please stop making fun of PGO. I feel bad.
Sorry, I'm just mad that I agree that it didn't exist. But yeah, Alejandro, you deserve to be on this list. You deserve to be on this list and in this video more than us talking about sanitation engineers' existence, because your existence shows how great you are at improv and that you fully belong on this list. Alejandro, you are such an amazing performer, and I hope that everyone who has seen you this year probably has the same mindset, just clearly super strong performer. You fully deserve to be here, and I hope you know that. So shout out Alejandro. Our next one, I think this is a performer that probably a lot of people would expect to be on the list, and it kind of you kind of have to. This performer is insanely funny, insanely witty, and has only grown. I think last year we witnessed a moment in this performer's career that was so big that it kind of has set us up for the rest of the meal that we were gonna have. What we thought, what we saw, and we were like, whoa, this is the best dinner I've ever had. They're like, no, that was merely your hors d'oeuvres. Here's an appetizer. And then probably next year will be the actual dinner, and then senior year will be dessert. You know what I mean? Shout out to over at Sierra Vista, Griffin. Yeah, that was my setup for Griffin. Yeah. He gave us hors d'oeuvres last year, but this year he's on the appetizer. Griffin, the appetizer. Insert last name for the sake of legal purposes.
Yes.
So yeah. Overall, though, amazing performer. I think it's one of those things where it's so well documented, it's so well noticed. You see a show that has Griffin in it, and immediately you're like, wow, that kid's good, right? I had a coach who had not really seen Griffin prior. They watched the show, they were like, the kid with the long hair, what's his name? And I was like, Griffin? They were like, yeah, that kid. I was like, yeah, that feels like an accurate sentence for him as a performer.
Yeah. Griffin is one of those players that I have had many conversations with just about improv in general, and he is so hungry. And we keep using food analogies for this kid.
Dude, the kid's a monster. Just you see him at the edge of the table, just ready to eat.
No, but there's one thing I want to highlight about Griffin is he is such a sponge when it comes to knowledge about improv. He is the type of performer where he is so eager to improve and eager to listen to everyone around him. He's one of those performers where you can give him criticism and he doesn't take it personally. He takes it to heart and applies it the next time you see him perform. One of the things I think that I like we can all appreciate about Griffin is his confidence, but also the ability to make anything work in the scene. Even the most absurd things can make sense to Griffin. One of the things I think we saw was Batman and Batman with Micah.
Yeah.
Was probably one of those scenes where it's so absurd, but because of the confidence that Griffin had with the scene, we believed every single second of it. And he's also the type of kid who has also sat and watched so many shows, even if he's not performing in them, and just to absorb all the knowledge that he could possibly get from them.
And I think one of the big things that I think a lot of people give credit to Griffin for is his consistent ability to kind of gimmicky break games, right? It's something he loves doing. You can see it in his eyes that whenever he's playing any game, he thinks, how can I destroy this and make it my game as well? But I think with that being such a popular thing with him, we underestimate a lot of moments where how good he is just naturally without even doing that. Another example, I hate to say examples that no one will ever see, but today there was another example where he was in a support role for a game of Barista, and I would argue had one of the funniest characters in the entire game, just off the back of how he came in, he was like, give me an espresso on the rocks, you know, and it was just this energy that I thought was extremely good. Griffin, I don't know if it's that he watches a ton of TV and has a huge Rolodex of like voices and characters to go for, but he consistently has these fun characters where they feel like characters that a 30-year-old man would think of, and so it's so funny that he uses his like brain to come up with them, because that's my humor style, is old man jokes.
He's just so talented. But even with the old man jokes, he's one of those people where no matter where you are or what references you get, you find it funny.
Yeah.
Like, he is just such a natural, funny person.
Yeah.
So, just huge shout out to Griffin. This was such an incredible year for you this year, and you just got so much more to improve with. I'm so scared.
I'm here to help some inner city kids. Is that actually his
That
goal?
was what he said.
That's what he said. It was, let's inspire some inner city kids.
And that was what he did to date in dating app. It was crazy. But yeah, Griffin, feel good about yourself. You 100% deserve to be on this list. And you're a sophomore, dude. We can't wait to see what else you got going on.
That's why I said it's only the appetizer.
Only the appetizer.
We get dinner next year, and then we
and
get
then
desserts for
your
senior year. We've been blessed with a fourth of dessert Griffin.
Okay. Moving on.
Yeah, amazing performer. This next one, truly so good. They've took a ginormous leap in the leadership role they had to do for their team this year. I think last year they were in a leadership role, but they got to really just be and focus and appreciate being a performer, right? This year though, they've like fully become like coach for the team, like 100%. I am teaching everything, right? It's such a deserving performer. It's the only performer who was on our MVP list last year, and I think this performer 1000% shows that they deserve to be on it this year, because that's just the level of talent and quality that this performer always brings, regardless of the show. And it's going to be a huge monumental shout out over to Kat over at West Tech. Oh my goodness, Kat as a performer, it's such Kat's so good. Okay, so one of my favorite things about Kat is Kat has managed to achieve a level of improv that Kat knows how to perform while even not being in the like driver's seat of the show. One of my favorite things, heck, this isn't something that you get to see very often on our stage. Kat as a host is insanely goofy and funny, which a lot of people don't get to see. Kat is good at so many different facets of improv where you realize, holy shenanigans, this performer has witnessed so much improv, has digested so much improv to a point where they are now a fountain of knowledge, right? Before Kat went full SpongeBob mode, absorbed all the knowledge, and now it's like that scene when like SpongeBob goes like whoosh, and like all the water comes out. That's Kat showing you how much knowledge Kat has. Kat has always been extremely funny, but now Kat is at a point where it's just insanely perfect instincts and scenes, knowing exactly what to do, being able to look around and acknowledge like, okay, this isn't right, let's fix it now. Kat's so good. I will go and hammer that down a billion times in a row. What an amazing performer. Would you like to?
Yeah, Kat not only is a great performer, but also is just a super great leader. I think everyone who's had a show has seen Kat also take on the roles of helping us backstage as well.
Yeah.
Kat is just such a huge help. Kat is one of those people, again, like Griffin, who just consumes so much and is able to just, anytime they get a criticism, it's not a slight on them. They were able to take everything and improve it and sharpen it to like where we see her now as, she's just so, like you said, incredible. To give an example, seeing the West Tech show, like their own showcase, Kat being a leader and Kat being a teacher is just so good at divulging this knowledge to her team, and everyone there, like from what we can tell, supports her like so much.
Yeah.
Kat is just such a supportive performer while also being able to be in the spotlight and be in the background and do like just be the jack of all trades pretty much. And she's just so fun to watch, and it is incredible how much she improved from last year, because even though she was on the MVP list last year, there's still such a marginal improvement to this year to her being on the MVP list.
Yeah, it's not like we are refreshing the list with the same Kat we saw last year.
This is a completely different Kat from last year.
Extremely good. And I think Kat's one of those performers where I think when Kat really gets rolling, Kat ascends in the show. So like there's a lot we get very often we get to see Kat, and I think Kat naturally as a performer is very good. But sometimes Cat hits on a joke early, and then we'll kind of start like getting that like, oh, okay, I got my confidence, right? Like, you know, kind of like a boxer, you get into a rhythm. And once Cat gets in rhythm, Cat is one of those people who is unstoppable.
Oh, yeah.
And gets extremely funny, just, oh, Cat's so good. One of my favorite little jokes from Cat, this is such a specific joke. It's the one that we always hear the Cat joke, right? Whenever someone says Cat, you either see Cat point like Jim Halpert at themselves, or like whatever it may be. But you see very often when you hear Cat, everyone kind of turns their head towards Cat or thinks of Cat, whatever it is, right? Especially because it's not always Cat that we're obviously referencing the creature that goes meow. So this is where the joke comes in. So this season, I'd love to hear it. It's so funny. But teams have gotten into this habit now of, I know the guys back there already, and you hear like different noises. Maybe they'll be like, yeah, we are, you know, whatever it may be. There was one that made me absolutely die laughing, and then you just hear, and then she, from Cat, and it's so obviously Cat that meow. It's so funny because you're just like, oh, it's 1,000 IQ joke. Like, it's the perfect timing to make a Cat joke. Cat usually doesn't make the own Cat jokes. Cat
Everyone makes jokes about Cat.
And then Cat jumps in because obviously Cat is now being called upon. That was your cue, you know, to
She was
join
summoned.
in. But Cat making a Cat joke, I think, was probably the best Cat joke I've heard all season, and it was just perfectly done because it was the clearest example of what I've said about Cat up to this point. Cat fully understands improv. It was a rule of threes. We had bark, 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 meow, and that was perfect. So that's just the kind of stuff that, like, even in the smallest moments, Cat has learned how to stand out, be extremely funny, but also not absorb the entire stage.
Absolutely.
And that's the type of thing that I love with, I think West Tech has kind of built that into their culture with them having like student coaches that the student coach isn't like, this is my team. You know what I mean?
They very much feel like a unit.
Yeah, and it's like, I won't perform in every show if I don't have to. I want my other performers to perform. I want to see Elfie in a show. I want to see Indy in a show.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see Kaylin, Bryson, Colton, Kenna. There's plenty more, and I apologize if I did not say your name. West Tech is a big team full of a lot of fun personalities and funny performers. But a big testament to that team is the fact that Cat is always willing to push and have these other performers shine, even if it means discounting themselves, which is huge, and that's the type of stuff we love in a performer. Overall, though, these three, we stated, they're amazing. Alejandro, you are so good. You deserve to be here. Griffin, you are so amazing. You deserve to be here. And Kat, you are so splendid. You deserve to be here. But where will we learn where these results are going to happen?
On April 18th, over at the Legacy Theater of Excellence, Broadway in the Hood is hosting us for our championship day. We're gonna have awards.
Whoa.
We're gonna have the All-Star nominations.
No.
We're gonna have the coaches show. You're gonna see the final two and who's gonna get the crown.
It's a trophy.
It's a trophy. I just like saying crown. Crown sounds cool.
Crown.
But you're gonna see all of that and more happening on April 18th at the Legacy Theater of Excellence, hosted by Broadway in the Hood. And
That's going to be for championship day. So get so hyped. And the week before that, we have playoffs where you get to see these performers all probably perform because they're in like every single show, every single week.
And then April 10th, on that Friday before we have playoffs, we're going to have our playoff kickoff where you're going to see all of these performers and your coaches and the board perform. And you're going to see so many cool things. And you don't want to miss out. Do you want to miss out, Gio?
That's right. Cowabunga, Mikey. What?